How'd you like that? I thought it was finally time. I did a bit of an intro, so had a bit of fun with that, getting creative. But anyway, back to serious vlogging. Very serious, of course. Yeah, so today is the week commencing Monday, 14th of June 2020, of course. Yeah, so planning a full 5 days on the run this week. It's currently just before 10 at night. I'm in Newcastle, or should I actually Gateshead. The sun is setting just behind you over there. Some nice sort of orangey reddy clouds, quite nice. But anyway, yeah, so as ever, start off the week, fuel prices. Bit of a shocking news on this one. So the BWOC card, or the BWOC card, which is the one that their own one called Control for Diesel, but it uses a Key Fuels network. Like a lot of these cards, they tend to use the UK Fuels order. Key Fuels network, this one uses a Key Fuels network. Anyway, that's gone up quite a bit. So last week it was 103.48, and this week it's gone up to 104.23. But my Shell card, which I get through the UK Fuels, so it's not using UK Fuels network, it's just like the Shell one that UK Fuels sell on, like a lot of them do as well. Last week that was 104.96, so really expensive. I didn't have a phone call off them or anything last week. I think I may have missed a call off them. Possibly. Could have been someone else. And it was 103.29 this week, so it's got considerably cheaper, like 1.6 pence a litre cheaper than last week. So that means, because the BWOC's gone up and that's come down a fair bit, it's now cheapest this week by about a penny, or just under a penny. So I'll be using the Shell card, UK Fuels. In fact, I already have. I just filled up this evening. Well, yeah, almost full tank went in there. So with the VAT, that's 123.95. So I actually like it when the UK Fuels one, the Shell one, I got through UK Fuels, is cheaper because it's easier to use. I can use it in any Shell, any Esso, any Texaco, any Gulf. I only ever use branded fuel. I don't use supermarket fuel. Whereas with the ones that use a Key Fuels network, some of them have got a surcharge, and if it's like an Esso and it's got a Tesco's shop, then you pay pump price, and there's all these silly little rules, which if you sign up with them or somebody else who uses a Key Fuels network, they should tell you about. But in fact, they send you a spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet with all the ones nationwide that charge a surcharge and stuff. Most of them are in like remote areas, like, you know, Hebrides and Scotland and stuff like that. But some of them aren't, and sometimes there's a few motorway service stations on there, but I rarely fill up in the services anyway, because I tend to be on the job. I tend to make sure I've got enough fuel for the following day in the evening, and I'm only ever at motorway services when I'm on the job, really. Not really go there in the evening. No, I don't. So anyway, that's the fuel prices. Bit of a shock there. So yeah, so this morning I started looking about 9ish, maybe 9:05. Can't remember how long to get my first job. Not long. It was a long wheelbase job, I believe. It could have been medium wheelbase. Anyway, it was posted, and it was one of these ones posted backload, so like the orangey yellow writing. But it was pickup within the hour, deliver ASAP. Shipper I'd not done work for before, but the feedback's okay. They've been on a while. So I just put it £1 a mile. I think I was like 6 or 7 miles from it. Quarter of an hour drive. Got it. And the actual pickup was from their premises. And I've actually recognised their premises as soon as I just looked at it on the map, because I cycled past there quite a lot. That's on my route out into Shropshire when I got on a road bike. Actually, I passed it yesterday. Anyway, yeah, I went there, got loaded, 2 Euro pallets, but like wooden boxes on top. Couldn't really see what's inside. I think it was castings, metal castings. And that went to just like a place called Elland, which is obviously Yorkshire way. I know that because Leeds United's football ground is on Elland Road, so it's easy to know, but it's kind of more towards Halifax, Elland. Not far off the M62, so yeah, a bit of a pain getting a bit of traffic, delayed me like 25 minutes. Got it tipped, just like some kind of warehousey place really. Pulled up out there, actually got a job back to the West Midlands, but it was a small van job and they kind of knocked me down on price, but I went for it anyway because it was getting me really close to home. And then when I got it, I was kind of thinking, should I have done that? Should I have just turned it down and even if I don't get home tonight, earn more money, you know? As it happens, 5 minutes down the road, it fell through. Shipper phoned me, no cancellation for that because I barely moved really. Anyway, so packed up again. Yeah, and I got a job, which is the one that got me up to here, the northeast. It's one of them ones I bid on it, and when they ring, I'm like, in the meantime, for me bidding on it to getting a job, quite a few decent jobs came up coming down south. Like, so I was thinking, get a, obviously towards the north of the country in Leeds area. I was thinking, well, if I can get a job, even if it's down to southeast towards London today, tipping today, and then I'm looking for a job first thing in the southeast, that's not too bad. But yeah, anyway, I got phoned and got this job. I think this might have been a short wheelbase job. No, it was a medium wheelbase job. There's a fair few miles from it though. Yeah, because the pickup was in Burnley, so I priced at 85 pence a mile straight through to it, picking it up and then up here. And yeah, Bayek is there some nice countryside in Yorkshire. A good look at Yorkshire today, so driving from Elland over to Burnley, kind of drive through sort of in the valleys in the Pennines in Yorkshire as far as Hebden Bridge, and then this crazy steep switchback narrow road climb at Hebden Bridge, and then onto the tops of the Pennines, they call them moorland, and then to obviously North Lancashire towns, drop down into Burnley, pick that up. Yeah, straightforward pickup. That was supposed to be 2 pallets and a ton, but there's actually only 1 pallet there today. I think it might have been a regular job, possibly. But anyway, yeah, just the 1. That was handy because it was half the weight, obviously. And then a really beautiful drive from there up to here, like particularly the A59 from sort of Burnley. I got onto the A59 at some point and went past Skipton and then skirted around Harrogate. But that road, the A59, is absolutely stunning countryside around there. Beautiful like Pennines farmland, and then up getting higher and higher, and then into the more of the moorlands, and then dropping down through this little valley gorge thing on this like mountain pass road. Yeah, that was beautiful. So yeah, some good driving today. So that took me to 220 for the day. Got it tipped here. The place actually shut the operations at 4:30, but thankfully there was some people on site. The guy said he was a painter, but he seemed to know what he's doing, so he don't think like they got a permanent painter on site. I don't know, or maybe it's just a maintenance guy. Does a lot of work there. No guy with a forklift, so we handballed it off. And he said I was lucky because normally there wouldn't be anyone there, but the shipper should have known that, really. You know what I mean? But anyway, turned out all right in the end. Got it tipped. Yeah, and this evening I've just been got some chips. Went and washed the van. The van hadn't had a wash in a long time. It was pretty filthy, but you don't realise how filthy it is until you start washing, because it's so big. I found in jet washes, I put it in one way, like reversing, do the back, and then spin it around and then do the front. Once I'd washed half of it, it was like, yeah, just see how filthy it was. But anyway, I'm a white van man, part of the thing. But now it's pretty spotless. But 16 quid I spent in the jet wash, 2.5 minutes a pound. I spent 16 quid, so that's 40 minutes of jet wash. But it's a big van and it was filthy. And now it's summer, less shit on the roads, less rainy weather. So hopefully it'll stay cleanish for a while, and it'll get washed again when it goes in for a service, which isn't too far off. Anyway, yeah, and then been for a quick look at the Angel of the North, which was in intro, and yeah, quite nice to go to Angel of the North. When I used to live in Newcastle, lived here for like 2 years. Whenever I'd been away, like been back to Wales for the weekend, and it's a long drive back home up here, like 4.5 hours. That's kind of when I knew I'd kind of got home, when I saw the Angel of the North from the A1, or the A1M, I think it is at that point. Might be just the A1 actually then. But anyway, that's, yeah, the week's for that. That's right, that's the start of the week. That's Monday then. Right, just before 7 now, Tuesday evening. Good day today. Yeah, so I spent the night in Team Valley sort of retail park, and there's a big industrial estate there as well. Yeah, not the best night's sleep, because even as a retail park, the security guy saw him come around and start locking up loads of the car parks. So I was going to tramp them where I was parked, so I had to move like next to the McDonald's one, because McDonald's are 24 hours, and that was like too close to the main road, so I could hear the trucks coming in and out, but of the trading estate or whatever. But anyway, yeah, reasonable night's sleep. Woke up this morning, started looking for jobs, sort of like 8ish maybe. I hadn't missed anything before that because I had my feed on overnight, the app open. And then only 2 jobs pinged up between like 8 and 9 on the app. Like, I'd have my home location set up there as well, so it's just that area I was seeing. And I started thinking maybe it's been a mistake coming up here, maybe it's not busy enough yet, the system, to be coming up the northeast. Because normally, you know, it doesn't really get busy properly till 9, but really, obviously more than 2 between 8 and 9. But anyway, I ended up getting a job just about 9:30, I think it was. I bid on it, knew it would be a full day job, 1 job day. It was Washington, pretty close to where I was, long wheelbase job, down to where I am now. Can you guess where it is? Big oil terminal over there, and another one down that way. It's Milford Haven, somewhere that is normally totally out of my sort of area I'd normally go. But I thought it can't be too fussy getting out of here. It's a long job, should get good decent money for it just because it's so long. So I went in on the CX. It's 397 miles loaded, and I was 6 miles from it. So I went in at, I think I worked at 85 pence a mile. All miles was 340, and I thought, well, I've got to go a bit more than that. So I went 347, got the job. Not straight away, took about half an hour for them to ring me back. Yeah, and it turned out the shipper told me apparently this pallet that I collected, well, she said €2, but actually it was €1 in one little box, and €1's like a wooden crate. Apparently it's supposed to be in Tamworth this morning, to go out for delivery down here from Tamworth, but obviously it wasn't, it was in the northeast. So yeah, I had to pick it up from a transport company, really straightforward pickup, but it said deliver before 5, and I didn't get loaded till like 10 past 10 in the morning. By the time I'd got there and got loaded, so I put on a note it's going to be quite tight. I just cracked straight on with it. When I put the destination into Google Maps, actually the quickest route was a different route, sort of heading down, instead of going all the way down, well, down the M1, cutting across to the M4 and then going over the bridge this way, with a bit of cross country but mostly motorway. It was actually saying quicker and a lot shorter to go down the A1M, over the M62, down into North Wales on the M56, and then down past Wrexham and then mid Wales and all the way through. And it was a hell of a lot shorter. It was like 340 something miles. So that's the way I went. First half was, like I say, mostly motorway, or all motorway or dual carriageway, but then when I hit just after Wrexham, like the Wrexham bypass finishes, ends the A483. From there it was all just A and B roads, and even some little single roads, single lanes, which Google just threw into the mix for a bit of fun. So thinking, where the hell's it sending me down here? But anyway, yeah, and some absolutely stunning scenery. The A483, particularly like between Newtown and I think it's Llandrindod Wales, such a twisty, beautiful road. And also as well, because I used to come down to mid Wales a lot, like 10-15 years ago when I used to do the rallying. But
I used to come down watching the rallies as well, but never really got any further south than sort of Brecon, Builth Wales way. So it's quite nice to cut across from that sort of area over towards Carmarthenshire. Came out onto Carmarthen onto like the South Wales Coast Road and then cut across to here. She did actually ring me to ask me my reg number, even though we didn't need it this end. I don't know why, we quite often do that. And I said to her it's going to be very tight to get there for 5, because at the time, this is before I stopped in Oswestry, it was showing I was going to get there at 5, and that was with no delays or anything. And she says, oh yeah, I told them, to be honest, it's going to be 6 to half 6 by the time you're going to get there. So that was right. I just eased off, because before then I was doing like 70, maybe even 75 on the motorway, because it generally shows higher, faster when you're actually going, doesn't it? I was pushing on a bit. I was only getting like 29 miles per gallon, because I reset it last night, so I topped up when I was doing that kind of speeds on a motorway. Might be of interest. When I'm at 65, I normally get over 35. At the moment it's more like 36, 37 miles per gallon. But anyway, yeah, so got down here, got it tipped. Sort of behind me over there's a dry dock, and there's a tugboat in there. I'm seeing for repairs or servicing or whatever. I don't know if it's a part for that. The guy was a bit miserable, to be honest, to sign the paperwork. And then the guy took it off on a telehandler, which I was a bit nervous about. But he seemed to know what he's doing, pretty proficient. I said to him, oh, boat parts, is it? Stating the obvious, hoping he'd sort of tell me what it was, because I was being a bit nosy. But he just goes, yeah, and signed it. But one of these ones, sometimes I think this was quite late getting here, but I'm not like, as the same day courier, I'm not part of the problem. I look at I'm part of the solution, but they don't often know that. They just know probably it's late, so they're quite often a bit miserable, it can be. But hey ho, got that tipped, so I'm having a good look around Milford Haven now. So this is the haven itself, so you're going to get a bit of wind noise now probably. Not the trailer, so they're out to seas that way. See these people setting up fishing. There's some youths jumping off some foul-mouthed local youth jumping off the pierhead jetty. And this is the thing, so you've got a massive oil terminal over there, refinery. And if you go further down, there's actually another refinery over there. If you can see some wind turbines, you'll see the flame bit. So yeah, never been down this part of the world, so this is a good treat, get to get down here. I've earned good money on that job. If you're wondering where Milford Haven is exactly, have a look at this. This is the Who's Around Me tab on the phone when I just got here. Yeah, so very far west here, very few people. I've already I searched, logged into the website on my phone on just using the Google Chrome, so not the app, and I've searched loads that have come out of 30-mile radius of Milford Haven, and there's one job come up on there, and that was yesterday morning, so nothing's come up today, so I can't stay around here tonight. I'm gonna have to drive east towards Swansea. I'm not going to go quite as far as Swansea. I'm going to go basically to the end of the M4 and perch there overnight. Have a good look around here first, but because I earned good money on this job in the end, because it's 347 quid for 352 miles, I was slightly above target by the end of yesterday. I can do 67 mile dead miles and still be over my 85 pence a mile all miles. I'm not going to go 67, it's going to be like 55 I think. So yeah, it's a good day, so we're going to have a good look around town now, check out the port and stuff, get Chinese I think tonight, and that's it. Yeah, then head over, like I say, towards that way and perch. I think I'm going to be, I've Google Maps a bit of a Tesco extra, so I'll see if I can park there for now. If not, I'll be around the corner from that supermarket. So yeah, that's Tuesday, a good day. Gair Cymraeg y dydd, Welsh word of the day. Yes, I did film an update when I'm in the home country, Wales. So I've started this little feature, so I have to carry on basically, just to be consistent. So yeah, today's Welsh word of the day quickly is to do with where I tipped, obviously, a little port. Yeah, so the Welsh word for port is porth.
So I can put this on the screen as well, because it's and if you say it in English, you'll kind of pronounce it right in Welsh. So it's Porth, Porth. You'll see places like Porthcawl, Porthmadog. So that's like port in the town name. Yeah. So there you go. That's Welsh word of the day.
Right, it is now 7 p.m. On the Wednesday evening. So yeah, I had a quite nice time yesterday in Milford Haven. Had a good look around town, around the port. Some fried rice. Quite a nice town. There's obviously quite a lot of good jobs around that area in terms of the 2 oil terminals, oil refineries. But it did occur to me what's going to happen to this place when most of the vehicles, cars, switch to electric and stuff, and not burning petrol and diesel. Remains to be seen what's going to happen with commercial vehicles and vans, but it's going to be like the Welsh valleys when they stop using coal and that all fell away. Be interesting to see what happens to that kind of area, but it's how it is, isn't it? Times change, but yeah, that's kind of imminent for them. Anyway, so yeah, nice look around. The high street was pretty nice as well. Yeah, nice evening there really. And then I drove last night to the town which I forgot, but it's not quite as far as Swansea, but as far as the M4. It's about 56 miles. And that's, yeah, tramped in Tesco car park last night, good to sleep, really quiet. Absolutely dead, this Tesco. Went this morning, there was like a dozen people in there. It was one of the massive ones, just really quiet. I'm now in another big natural type harbour place, this time in England, in Plymouth. So another place I'd never normally come to, but I kind of chanced my arm this week, going to like the northeast, which I thought might be a bit risky. Did alright. Down to South Wales. I did get out there this morning. Obviously dead miles were kind of including yesterday's job, so it still wasn't too bad. This morning it was a bit quiet. There was a fair few jobs coming up actually. Probably more of them was coming up in Newcastle on whatever day that was. Morning. I got a job possibly 8ish, can't remember exactly, quite early on anyway. I remember thinking it's quite an early job, and it was picking up in Bridgend, which is quite far from me, going to a place that escapes me again. I'll put that one on the screen as well. 3 drops, 3 pallets, so 1 pallet to each drop, and they're all like in the same town, Chippenham I think it was, that was it. So I got over there, like a 45-minute drive to get there. It's like over 30 miles, and it's only like 70 something miles on the job. No, it was 87 miles on the job. I quoted 97 and they got it, but it was 3 different drops. Got there to pick up, big transport company, I think they're a national one. Got the paperwork in the office, went to get loaded, and then I noticed 2 of the pallets, they had UN stickers on, which means it's hazardous material. So I got me thinking, is this ADR? And then he put the first one on, and then he's putting the second one on, which is quite a tall, the heaviest and tallest pallet. And this was just loads of bottles, and they all had UN stickers on them. And I said to the forklift driver, "Is this ADR, mate?" And he just says, "I've no idea, mate. It's not something I know about. I'm just a fork driver." And I says, "Well, just hang on a second. I'm gonna have to go back to the office and just make absolutely sure, because I'm not ADR and this job hasn't been booked ADR." I did check the job to make sure I missed it. I haven't put it in the notes or anything, but I'm always really keen to make sure I check the notes and stuff, so you avoid such things. Went back into the office, said, "Are these ADR?" Noticed there's a lot of UN stickers on 2 of the pallets. They looked at it again, and then they came out to look at the pallets with me. And then the guy said to me, he goes, "Yeah, I'm not sure about this one actually. This one's a bit of a grey area," because what he said to me was, it's not a case of the total amount of stuff you're carrying, because quite often when something has got a UN sticker as ADR, if it's limited quantities, they say it, for different types of things, obviously you only know about it. I still need to read up on this. Doesn't matter how much you're carrying, he says, it's a case of how big each container is. But he says that stuff, and it was fuel for lawnmowers, like pre-mixed fuels. I imagine it's just petrol and 2-stroke oil pre-mixed. in 5 litre containers. It says I think that's possibly 2.5, so they took that one off me, so I only had 2 to deliver. You know, it's a bit dodgy, give them the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, I wasn't best pleased with that. But in the end I only had to do 2 drops, really easy. The first one was to some book printers, as you can see the pallets of novels outside in the dispatch area. And the second one was just to like a regional distribution centre, quite a small one. Thought I might, you know, whenever I see RDC or NDC, oh, motorbike, sounds nice, doesn't it? Whenever I see NDC or RDC, nice boat coming in as well, nice trawler. Anyway, yeah, I always think, you know, trying to be positive about things, but it's always a sign that it could be there for a while. But this one turned out alright, really quick. So that put me in Chippenham, bid on a few jobs. I got one down to where I am now from Swindon. This one's 158, 157 miles. I quoted 167 quid or something. I can't remember exactly, but I quoted it fairly high. First job worked out 90p all miles. This one was more like 95, I think. But I kind of thinking, if I'm going to come down here, it's got to be for, you know, a bit more money. It's one of the ones where the shipper phones you and says, okay, yeah, you quote on it, I just need to go to the customer and see that to go at that price, obviously with their markup on it. Give me 5 minutes, no call back after half an hour. In that time, no real jobs I wanted to bid on came up anyway. So I rang them back, and then she quickly rang the customer again to, you know, ask them yeah or nay. And then she rang me back and said, yeah, it's a goer. She asked me how long my van was. I said it's like 3.6 at the bottom. It's actually 3.7, but yeah, it says, oh, it's alright because it's a projector and it's 3.5 metres long. I thought, oh, I'll fit fine. Went and picked it up. This package is more like 4.5 metres, if not more. But it just about fitted, with it in one corner at the top of the bulkhead, all the way down to the opposite corner on the floor by the rear doors. Just about fitted, I'd say maybe 10, probably less than 10 centimetres clearance. And anyway, a nice drive down here, no traffic down here. Which is, you know, coming to the southwest, it's pretty good. Pretty decent roads to get to Plymouth. M5 and then dual carriageway this far. Got it tipped, it was to the university. Nice chap there, and then I've just come for a wander around town. So Plymouth's a big area, obviously, much bigger than Milford Haven. So you've got behind me some kind of fort out to sea that way in the breakwater, some castle in the breakwater, and then I've kind of round that way Plymouth in the uni, so having a good look around the harbour, and then going round the headland that way is where all the naval base is, which I think is where my cousin lives. I haven't seen him in donkey's years, he's in the Navy. Yeah, so, and while I was here, you can possibly make out there somewhere, there's a small tanker, a green small tanker, and over, where are we? Totally lost here. Over there is just about to see it, some like fuel depot, fuel compound. And when I was at Milford Haven, there was a boat that size, green, that left. And when I got here, it was just leaving that terminal. I'm wondering if it's the same one. Wouldn't surprise me, because massive terminal, Milford Haven, not far from here. Take it by small tanker to here, and then you can see all the, you know, road tankers parked up next to this depot. So, you know, maybe it's just a depot. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one I saw leave yesterday. So I'm gonna a bit of time now. I'm gonna go for a run actually, because I feel alright. Try and find somewhere to have a shower. And I've actually got a job for tomorrow, Oakhampton, which is 30 miles north of here. I stopped on a service on the way down here for a piss basically, and I checked the feed because I'd already changed my area for notifications, home notifications to down here, and there was one for here, for Oakhampton in the morning, 7:30 to Guildford way. I quoted that £1 a mile, 168, got it. And it's actually worked out okay. It's slightly below 85p a mile. I didn't really work out how far it was from here to Oakhampton. I just kind of guessed it and got it about right. And it's getting me back more, you know, it's kind of in the sticks by Guildford. It's kind of back to more of a busier area. But then I did check around here before I came down here. I logged into the website on my phone. And searched how many jobs come out of Exeter, and it wasn't too bad. It was like the same as Swansea, so I was like, well, it's not actually that bad really, so I'll give it a try. That's why I came down here, and it's worked out again. So yeah, still chancing my luck, and yeah, it's kind of paying off. Right, about 20 past 2 now, Thursday afternoon. I have realised I'm kind of like leaving doing the updates till the evening, partly because it's just, you know, if I'm in a busy area I have to watch the feed, don't really have time to film. But I'm in a bit of a quiet area now, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a midday update to sort of break it up a bit. So I did that job this morning. Nice drive last night. I had a good look around, like I say, Plymouth. Went for a run, it's quite nice. Ran along the beach, ran a bit further than I walked, so check out some more of it. And then I headed up towards Oakhampton, sort of, yeah, like 9ish. So it was just sort of starting to get dark. I had quite a nice drive. Didn't realise I was going to go sort of over Dartmoor, the fringes of Dartmoor. Really nice countryside. Obviously some quite high peaks out in the clouds coming. Yeah, through some nice little towns on the way up there. Just nice to go to a new part of the world, really. Mid-Devon, Dartmoor. Parked, there's a little industrial estate. This pickup was in Oakhampton. I parked there for the night. Tiny little place, really, Oakhampton. Quite well-to-do looking, as you might expect that part of the world. But yeah, there's like a nice little industrial estate on the end, on the edge of it. It's just off the A30, so it's a decent road. So anyway, slept there overnight. Picked up this morning. Job said pick up at 7:30. Got there. He says, well, we don't open for the collections until 8. So yeah, I didn't get out of there until probably 8:15. I was at least first in the queue for collections. Where we did load one person before me, but I think it's because they knew him. He's a regular, so. One of them things got loaded. It was literally a few lengths of sort of like 3 meter lengths, maybe 10, of like L section for cladding. It's got on the corners of cladding, weighed like 30-40 kilograms. So yeah, and a really quick load, and no weight in a van. Straight down here, nice roads. A303, I think it is, past Stonehenge. Delivered to, you can see my van there, so behind my van, that way, about 200 yards. Real plush house, obviously not far from London here. A lot of money around this part of the world. Big house, having some work done, loads of builders there. Yeah, quick tip, but that was like 2 hours ago now, so I'm kind of a bit in the middle of nowhere here. I'm just north of a place called Hazelmere, maybe 3 or 4 miles north. Hazelmere is on the road from Guildford down to like Portsmouth, whatever that is. So I've bid on jobs, not got anything yet. I've actually bid on jobs in the morning from like Portsmouth, Southampton way, going up to Northwest, ones that'll be good money jobs. And I could maybe just try and get a job local, or just have an easier day today, because that was 168, which was a good earnings to be on at midday. But obviously I've not got anything since. But I've totted it up, and I'm kind of halfway through tomorrow's target. I'm kind of like a day ahead of schedule at the moment. So I've said at the moment, obviously I would like to aim more. I don't like get to that and then quit. But want to do at least 220 a day, 1100 for the week. I'm on about £1,000 at the moment, and there's still a day and a half left. Pence per mile isn't great for the whole week so far. It's about 87.5, which is above my target, but not as good as I have been doing. But then the money's better, so yeah, it's 1 minute. So I'm just gonna have a quick wander around this woods now before I head off. I think I'll head closest to that main road, Hazelmere, and I'll be closer to Guildford to get a job stuff. Yeah, so nice. So there's the van. I did see one deer very briefly. It kind of like scarpered, so I could just see the commotion really in the bushes. If I walk down that way, not too far from the van, just seems a shame not to check it out and go for a bit of a walk. And still look for jobs while I'm doing it, while I'm here. So yeah, that's Thursday so far.
Right, late Friday afternoon now. Not long pulled up outside of home. Yeah, so I actually did one more job yesterday after having a bit of a walk around that woods. Got back to the van with a phone call about a job which is down sort of Waterlooville way. was like 24 miles from it. It was 84 miles loaded. I think, yeah, it was short wheelbase van. I quoted 84 quid, so it was like £1 a mile loaded, but not great because I was quite far from it. They were desperate for it to get done by the sounds of it. It was picking up that afternoon and then delivering first thing this morning to just north of Oxford. Forgot what the suburb was called. Used to live there. Maybe I should remember. Anyway, yeah, so picked that up. Funny one actually. I bid on it, and then they rang me up, and then they says, "Oh, are you still available for that job?" And they says 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning. And I was thinking, well, pick up 9 in the morning. I said, well, I must have misread it. Sorry, can't do it. And they said, okay, not to worry. Blah blah blah. End of conversation. And then they posted the job again, but it wasn't pick up at 9 in the morning. It was deliver 9 in the morning. I thought, well, I can do that because as long as it's no later than 9, that's all right. And it's getting me sort of closer to home, getting me sort of Oxford area instead of down like the wrong side of the M3, because today was obviously Friday and I need to get home. So when I picked it up, it's like a Euro pallet size little crate with some tools in it. So I could have slept in a van last night because it's only like 150 kilograms. Could have, slid it right up against the back doors, just drag it with a ratchet strap quite easily, and put the bed in there. But I thought, bugger it, I'll have a look on booking.com and see if there's anything around that area, because it's still quite early afternoon then. So I thought, if I get accommodation, I can at least chill out a bit and watch a bit of TV and that. Yeah, so in the end, I actually stayed in. It's one of these, like, it was booked on booking.com, but it was kind of like what you'd get on Airbnb. It's, spare room in somebody's house. It was just their box room, a single bed, use their bathroom, and they've got their own ensuite anyway, so it's pretty much your own bathroom. Just like a family too. I only saw the guy, but it's just like, yeah, a couple and their child living there. Literally, the guy just showed me the room and stuff, and I didn't see him after that. They weren't there when I left, so I just posted the key through the letterbox, like they said. But yeah, interested. That's another avenue of potential accommodation, midweek accommodation, possibly cheaper than a hotel. So I might have to. I'm not on Airbnb. I might have to look into that. Interested to know in the comments, has anyone else used Airbnb, this kind of thing? Because I think, the day of the cheap travel-lodge and all the rest of them during lockdown and stuff, they're all pretty much gone now. So I'm not going to spend like 40, 50, 60 quid on a travel-lodge. I could have actually stopped yesterday on the M4 services with Junction Gate 34 as the services there. Could have had a shower there and then just kept in the van. But yeah, it's quite nice to stay in a proper bed and get better night's sleep than I probably would have in the back, but still didn't sleep great in this house anyway. But kind of freshen up for the weekend a bit. Yeah, so got that job off this morning, just to some, I think it's a plastics place, I think there's some kind of tools in the back, in this crate, excuse me. And I parked up around the corner. Plenty of jobs coming up, but that part of the world, obviously a lot of them head south towards London. So I was looking for something getting closer to home. And ended up getting another short wheelbase job from Abingdon, which is a bit further south of Oxford, so I think it's 12 miles to there. And then how was it? It was 100 miles loaded. Again, I went in at 100 quid pound a mile, got it. Bit naughty of the shipper, this one. No phone call or anything, just sent it through. I saw it, but it was like accept, decline, so I accepted it straight away after checking the job details. What did I pick up? I can't remember now. Anyway, picked up something. That was it. Chairs. One pallet with 4 boxes on it. I had a load of chairs in them, and then one loose chair from like some warehouse importers. It looks like they import furniture to an Italian restaurant in Aspi della Zucca. Which has got to be one of the poshest sounding places in the Midlands. Yeah, tip to this restaurant. I thought I might have one of these. I had a conversation about, a pallet. Say, oh yeah, I'm a, the usual. I'm a same-day courier. Booked one way. Need to turn up to my next collection empty. You're keeping a pallet. That's basically, and they were fine with it. Or I don't know if they were fine with it, but it didn't whinge too much, so left everything with them. And then I was in Ashby for quite a while. There's a fair few jobs picking up this afternoon. Sometimes it can be misleading because it's just the same. I must have seen one job ping up like 20 times, going from like Derby to somewhere slightly rural in Nottingham. Obviously no one was going for it. Trying to get a job to Midlands. I thought I would get one, but I bid on a few, I didn't get them. And then later on in the afternoon, I bid on one, said Lichfield, but it was actually Tamworth. I was only 30 miles from home then anyway, and I'd done my target for the week, so I thought not the end of the world if I drive home empty. But yeah, this one pinged up, but it was collect before 4:15. This one of them ones that's like really tight to get to the. I was only 20 minutes from it according to the CX, but I only left 10 minutes to spare. And it's one of these ones where it's obviously like really urgent to get something to collection, but they leave it a real long time before they ring you. Anyway, got it. The guy's like phones me up. He's been on the CX long, but he sold a few jobs, reasonable feedback, and it's only like a min charge job, went in at 45 quid. Living to Birmingham. Again, this is I think a short wheelbase job. And he's one of these ones asks, am I VAT registered? And that immediately makes me think, kind of a bit like Mickey Mouse, because most of the CX is, business to business, and if you set up and selling jobs, I can't see why you can't it's not hard to register it as VAT with VAT. The thing is that if you're selling your services direct to the general public, not to businesses, then you don't want to be VAT registered because it makes you uncompetitive. But if I just like trying to stay away from Joe Public doing this, that kind of thing. So that kind of put me off. And then the details sent through were really crap. CX just had the first part of the postcode of each one, and he texted me the pickup address, which was like partial. And then he texted me the delivery address, and it was just a full postcode. Anyway, I got to the pickup just on time, and it was shut anyway. So I said to him, 25 quid cancellation, so it'll be 25 plus the VAT, so that's going to be 30. And he's like, oh, can't you do it without the VAT? And I'm like, well, no, I'm VAT registered. You can't choose when you do and when you don't. He's like, oh, can you do it for 20 then? So that works out at 24. And I was just like, right, whatever. Potentially, it was on my way home. Anyway, if I didn't get anything, it was 20 quid, and it was like 30 miles anyway, so it was a bit of money to get home, really. I didn't waste any time on the job. Well, a bit of time, maybe 10-15 minutes. So yeah, that was a week. Started off really well. I've done better in target, but yeah, anyway, more of that in a summary. Right, weekly summary time, and yes, I've not moved from when I filmed the last bit. Just totted up my fingers, totted up my figures for the week, and I've got to do it, get it done now, because then I'm away this weekend and stuff. Don't have to worry about filming a summary, converting the video, loading it to my computer, and then uploading it from my computer, which is what I normally do because I'm away. This makes don't have to one less thing to worry about and think about. Right, okay. So full 5 days on the week, full 5 days on the run this week. So it's away from home all 4 nights. 1 night in the hotel, not a hotel really, somebody's spare room via booking.com. That was on the Thursday night. So that cost £32, and that was like my non-normal costs. I think a better word for that. So that's kind of, yeah. I just booked that on my private, not my business bank account, and get an invoice, because once you book through booking.com, it's really hard to get a proper invoice showing VAT, because you've paid booking.com, they take a cut and then they pay the house. So the house can't give, or the accommodation can't give you a receipt for the whole amount, because they're not getting the whole amount. And booking.com are actually I think they're one of these companies that are actually registered abroad, like Amazon and all that stuff, so they pay less corporation tax. So yeah, that's why it's always best sometimes to, if you can go direct to the property, they get more money and you can get a proper VAT invoice if they know what they're doing. But anyway, that's, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so Monday, 2 jobs, 103 and 117, which comes to 220. Tuesday, 1 job, which is a long job, sort of Newcastle to Carmarthenshire, 347, so that's my new biggest job. Definitely in terms of money, and yeah, it's got to be in terms of distance, I think, as well. Wednesday, 2 jobs, 97 and 197 for 264. Thursday, 2 jobs, 168 and 84 for 252. And then Friday today was the worst day, 120 for £120. But that did get me from Oxford to within 15 miles of home, so that's a good win. It's always harder to make money on a Friday because I'm obviously much more constrained in where I can go. Total comes to £1,203. Total mileage for the week was quite high, 1,399 miles. That's all miles from leaving here on a Monday to just getting back a little while ago. So that works out at 86 pence a mile, all miles, which is over my minimum target, which when I got this van I was thinking I've got to do 85 pence a mile, all miles. But I've been doing quite a bit higher than that, so that's probably the lowest I've had, but it's still, you know, alright, pretty good. So just taking into account my normal costs, fixed costs of £20 a day per working day, and then 30 pence a mile to cover fuel, vehicle depreciation, servicing, all that jazz. And also taking into account the VAT bonus, so flat rate scheme, what I get to keep, the 8%, 40% of the VAT charge, sorry. Yeah, so basically my pre-tax is 780, but not including the accommodation. And that kind of gets complicated here because I paid for that accommodation out of my personal account, so it's kind of cost me more than that. I'd have to earn more than 32 quid because obviously that's kind of like the deduction of my take home. So anyway, yeah, about 750, maybe a bit less once you take out the accommodation pre-tax for the week. Yeah, that's about it. Figures for the week. Quite an enjoyable week this week. Been to some good places. Good to go back up the northeast again. But I haven't managed to get north of the Tyne. I've been to like Washington, Gateshead a few times now, but never managed to get north of the Tyne. And I used to live in Newcastle. Newcastle is north of the Tyne, really. I used to work a bit further north again, up by Ashington. So it'd be nice to get up there at some point. So it's nice to go up there. I've been the furthest west I've been in South Wales, down to Carmarthen, and it worked out, but only because I really found a shorter route going there, so I managed to then use them miles to get back out of there towards Swansea to pick up a job the morning after. And then going down to Plymouth worked out quite well. That's the furthest down I've been down the southwest. So I've been chancing my luck a bit this week, but it's been paying off. And just nice to go there, nice places, nice by the seaside. So yeah, quite a nautical week this week. So if you saw that, you might have thought, oh, he's been on a ferry, but no, still no ferry. But yeah, it's just quite a nautical week. A few nice evenings spent by the sea. Yeah, good week. Definitely picking up. I've not done my little market research this week. I did do it twice last week and I didn't post it. I'll try and definitely do it next week and update on that. But yeah, that's the week. So as ever, any tips, please put them below for me or anyone who watches it. Interested to know about anyone who uses sort of more Airbnb. What do you think of that? Is it worth registering? Just anything like that really. And thanks for watching.